Imagine a man who spent decades hiding behind jokes and scripts, suddenly breaking his silence after the one person who truly saw him is gone forever. At nearly 90, he's raw, vulnerable, his voice cracking with a grief that no film could capture. Her passing ripped open old wounds, forcing him to admit what we'd all whispered about their band of love, that was messy, profound, and utterly irreplaceable. It all sparked back in the late 60s. During auditions for a quirky Broadway show in a bustling New York theater, he was in his early 30s, sharp-tongued and celebrated for his clever mind, yet awkwardly shy when it came to real connections with women. Then she stepped onto the stage, barely in her 20s, wildly unique, stunning in her effortless mismatched style that screamed individuality. He couldn't tear his eyes away. In his own words later, he wondered if he'd lost his mind, falling so hard, so fast. She was nothing like the polished types in his circle, impulsive, blissfully free from the mind games he thrived on. Her reading had the room in stitches. She landed the role on the spot. Soon, they were glued at the hip. Before long, she was sharing his space, their days a whirlwind of opposites clashing beautifully. He was the anxious thinker from the city streets. She was the laid-back dreamer from sunnier shores, turning disorder into something poetic. He adored her quirks, the ones that baffled him most. Her wild energy, her brutal honesty, her insistence on being unapologetically herself. But those same traits scared him to his core. He started molding her gently at first, off-screen suggestions about outfits, books, even thoughts. She'd push back with a smile, mangling words on purpose when he knit, grabbing random magazines instead of his or cranking up the eccentricity in her clothes. That quiet defiance only deepened his feelings, yet it planted the seeds of their downfall. A couple years in, she snagged a part in a gritty crime epic that would redefine her. He brushed it off. A tough guy flick wasn't her vibe, he thought, but she dove in anyway, rubbing shoulders with legends, emerging, transformed. No longer just his discovery, she was blooming on her own terms. For him, letting go felt like chaos. Control was his shield. By year's end, they parted ways, the ache lingering like an unfinished script. 5 years later, he channeled that pain into something immortal. In the late 70s, he released a film that wasn't merely influenced by her, it was her essence on screen. Her actual pet name became the title characters. Her family name inspired the rest. The wardrobe, pulled straight from her own drawers, baggy vests, oversized shirts, quirky ties that made her a style icon overnight. He crafted every awkward chat, every stroll through the city, every raw split, drawing from their lived chaos. For her, stepping back into that world meant reliving the hurt, line by agonizing line, guided by the very man who'd shattered her. Audiences raved about a romance that pulsed with wit and warmth, ending on a note of graceful farewell. But reality had been far messier. No tidy closure, just confusion and sting. He'd polished their story into gold, transforming regret into something timeless. That night at the awards, the film swept honors. Top prize, best direction for him, leading actress for her. She glowed on stage, statue in hand, but insiders knew the tremor beneath the smile, a win, laced with sorrow. He later called it not a tribute, but a way to purge the ghosts. Yet some spirits linger. She remained his eternal echo, the one who embraced life loudly and left without regret. If this tale of enduring ties is stirring something in you, hit that share button to pass it on. Even after the romance faded, he couldn't erase her. He brought her back for projects soon after, a dramatic turn, then a city-set mystery. Every so often, she'd pop up in his worlds like a familiar melody. No matter the fresh faces or new flames in his life, she haunted his scripts, shaping every woman he penned. By the 80s, she'd carved her own path with lighthearted hits. While his genius tangled with growing shadows, their paths diverged. But a thread stayed intact: sporadic calls, stretching into the night, or long quiets shattered by a simple check-in. Then the early 90s hit like a storm. A brutal family fight with his then-partner erupted into headlines, laced with betrayal and outrage over his involvement with her adopted daughter. The industry admirers vanished, doors slammed shut. Amid the wreckage, she returned. Slated for another role that fell through, she jumped in last minute for a murder comedy. 2 decades later, their spark hadn't dimmed the banter, the rhythm, the unspoken bond. It wasn't about rekindling flames. It was humanity reborn. He credited her with pulling him from the brink, career and soul intact. For her, it was instinct, a friend crumbling, and she wouldn't let go. What they forged next defied labels, not passion, not mere history, but a rare lifeline neither could sever. As the 2000s wore on, fresh waves crashed. Old claims resurfaced amid broader reckonings. Stars distanced, festivals axed his work, platforms pulled plugs. He became a pariah of his own era. Yet one ally held firm. In early 2018, she posted a handful of words online that shifted her world. "He's my friend, and I still trust him." She shared an old interview for context, inviting others to judge. The backlash was fierce. Opportunities dried up. Peers ghosted. Online fury branded her enabler. She stood pat. No retreats, no regrets. It stemmed from decades of intimacy, seeing beyond the noise to the fragile core she'd known forever. To him, it was salvation. She trusted when the world didn't. He confided. It cost her dearly, unasked. Their contact thinned to brief exchanges, grateful notes after her defenses. It transcended friendship, a shared survival pact against the tide. By 2023, in a rare chat, she reaffirmed, proud of every frame we shared. Criticism flared anew, but her stance unveiled unshakable conviction. It wasn't politics. It was truth earned over a lifetime, honoring the one who'd once celebrated her raw self. What if that loyalty was the real cliffhanger? Would it hold through the ultimate silence? Fast forward to 2025. Both had retreated from the spotlight, lives quieted by age. Her outings dwindled. She bowed out of commitments, looking weary in snapshots. Whispers of illness circled, but she stayed mum, even with closest confidants. Then, mid-October, the shock, she was gone at 79, details sparse, the end swift. Tinseltown hushed. He reeled hardest, devastated, blindsided. No one knew. A source shared. The master of composure crumbled. At her intimate send-off, he shuffled in, frail, clutching a vintage shot of them, mid-laugh from their first gig together. Tears flowed unchecked. Days later, he broke decades of public quiet with a heartfelt piece. Recounting that initial spark, her charm overwhelmed him, love hitting like lightning. He hailed her talent, her instinct, her influence on his craft. But remorse threaded through. Wonderful years, then drift for reasons only the cosmos and psyche experts could unravel. Privately, the admissions cut deeper. He'd not just cherished her, he'd craved dominance. That wasn't affection. It was insecurity, he owned. Losing her stripped away his illusions, leaving the truth bare. In her absence, his words softened, urgent with time's tick. Two pals. She saw the scared boy beneath the fame and cared anyway. I should have embraced her freedom, not fenced it. He revealed their acclaimed romance flick was his silent sorry. Her spirit, its heartbeat. Without her, his tales lacked depth. He keeps that old photo close, musing. Her faith in him, undeserved, yet given. A mystery forever. Their sagas, tragedy. It outlasted endings over 5 decades, shared screens, fights, voids, mends. She wasn't merely inspiration. She was his reflection, forcing honesty down, staring down his own horizon. He can't edit fate. His legacy endures on celluloid, but their private epic from audition magic to graveside grief belongs eternally to them. Some connections defy scripts, lingering like echoes in an empty theater. This bond of love, loss, and loyalty, what do you see? Heartbreaking twist or destined thread? Share your take below. If it moved you, like, subscribe, and spread the word for more hidden Hollywood hearts that echo long after the lights dim.